This week, the Ford government introduced new legislation. It was presented as reducing red tape to help businesses survive COVID. But inside that legislation is a section that will pave the way for controversial evangelical pastor Charles McVety's Canada Christian College to change its name to a university and grant new degrees. McVety is a friend and supporter of the premier, so it begs the question, has Doug Ford changed from the days when his government was embroiled in patronage scandals? Charles McVety has long been a controversial figure in Ontario. The evangelical pastor is a vocal critic of LGBTQ rights. His religious program was pulled off the air in 2010 after the Canadian Broadcast Standards found it distorted facts and contained abusive comments about homosexuals. The government's new legislation introduced this week will allow McVety's Canada Christian College the power to grant university arts and science degrees. Currently, it can only grant theology degrees. That drew the wrath of the former Premier, Kathleen Wynne, who is openly gay in the legislature today.
Why this government would extend the mandate of the most publicly and vocally homophobic man in Ontario. Why, in the name of all that is decent, would this minister validate the hateful, vicious, racist and homophobic rhetoric of Charles McVety by extending the reach of his Canada Christian College?
Charles McVety, a social conservative, describes Doug Ford as an old friend.
He's a wonderful man. He's been a friend for 10 years.
When CityNews hosted the first provincial debate before the last election, candidates were only allowed a small number of guests. Doug Ford invited Charles McVety, who sat with the Premier's family. Is his college getting university status a tit for tat? I mean, he helped you get the leadership and he helped you win the election.
I'll disagree on both comments about helping get leadership. I have supporters across the province, and as for the election as well. Mr. McVety is going through the same process of every single other university.
But the Canada Christian College has not yet been given approval to expand by the independent board that makes the recommendations. In fact, the Post-Secondary Education Quality Assessment Board's website shows the religious school submission has a consultation ending October 28th. Yet the legislation presumes approval has been granted. Again, the Premier insists McVety's Christian College is not being given special status.
And they'll go through the proper channels like every single other college has.
Before COVID, the Ford government had plummeted in the polls amidst patronage scandals. Early on in his mandate, the Premier also drew controversy when he tried to appoint an old friend to head up the OPP. It's not just Kathleen Wynne criticizing the Ford government over this. The NDP and Green Party leader both have strongly condemned the move. What's curious is why the government is willing to use up good capital with the public right now.